Halo is back. I went into the E3 showcase both incredibly excited and super nervous. I got the same feeling Saturday night like I do the night before I usually leave for a big vacation. I wish they would have shown more on Sunday. The campaign trailer blew me away. The music, the tone, the graphics, and most of all, I already love the dynamic between Chief and the new AI.
Did you hit your head or something?
But that's for another video. The multiplayer showcase was so sick, but it was also so fast cut, and it was only like 2.5 minutes. But now there's been a 12-minute Vidoc and a blog post that we can dive deep into. I'm gonna divide this video up basically into 3 parts for you guys. Part 1 is gonna be about the gameplay and the sandbox details. Part 2 is gonna be on the Spartan customization, and part 3 is gonna be about the unlocks and battle pass. There's chapters down on the timeline, so feel free to skip around if you want. But like I said, Halo is back, and so is the sandbox gameplay that made the series so amazing to begin with. Halo is finally starting to look like the series that I fell in love with all those years ago. It looks like 343 finally understands what Halo fans want to see from Halo gameplay, and they made a damn point to say the word sandbox as many times as humanly possible to really hammer that home. On top of that, they showed off so many of the gameplay elements, some returning and some new, so that we can finally start understanding what the multiplayer looks and plays like. The new gun that they showed off, the Skewer, looks so sick. It's basically a brute harpoon gun that can one-shot players and send stuff flying, and I already love it. And not just because it's a cool weapon, but because it looks like a fun sandbox tool. And that's an important distinction because that's something that's absolutely crucial to Halo's core gameplay, is having guns that serve more uses than just shooting people. The brute shot could be used to flip vehicles, move stuff out of the way, and even grenade jump to higher areas. You could use the fuel rod gun to bounce rounds off the walls, the plasma pistol could disable vehicles and take down shields, etc. And in the last couple games, the weapons have started losing that extra sense of utility, especially in Halo 5. And even with the new equipment, they've shown off just how they can be used for more than just their intended purpose, and in so many different ways. The grapple hook can obviously get you around the map faster and get you up to high points, but you can also use it to grapple 2 players, and you can use it to bring weapons and other objects to you. My favorite of the 3 equipment they showed off was the repulsor. And not because it just deflects bullets, but because in this shot here, the player looks down, hits it, and uses it to grenade jump. That is so awesome, and it makes me really excited to see what other equipment they haven't shown off yet, and what other sandbox uses we can get out of the current equipment. Another thing they talked about was that overshields and active camos are now equipment. So now you're going to be able to pick them up and be able to choose when and where you can activate it. And if you die before you use it, that means that somebody else can pick it up. I love the implementation of the equipment because it just makes you think more during a fight. Instead of just being able to fly around the map like Iron Man, you have to use the tools in your environment to overcome the limitations and gain an advantage organically. And that is Halo. Using the environment and the tools to figure out how to win a fight in the moment. And as we've known for a while now, vehicles actually take dynamic damage now rather than just having a kind of ambiguous health bar. You can shoot off the hood, bumpers, and wheels, and they'll handle differently depending on where the damage is. In this shot here, we can see the Warthog kind of driving away with the wheel missing, and you can tell that it doesn't turn as well, like when you lose a wheel in GTA. And speaking of Grand Theft Auto, once your vehicle starts on fire, you're going to have a certain amount of time that you can bail out before it explodes. You can still drive it, but once that flame ignites, the clock is ticking, and you have to figure out if you're going to bail out or ride or die. Or I guess ride and die would be more accurate. But another thing I thought was really awesome is the new Warthog type that they showed off called the Razorback. The Razorback is really similar to a Troop Hog, but not only does it have extra seating, but you can also store weapons, equipment, fusion coils, and objectives in the back. I can already see that being really useful for objective game modes, especially something like Capture the Flag, where in previous games, if the guy riding shotgun holding the flag got sniped in the face, while you're hauling ass, the flag just gets dropped in the middle of the battlefield and you're pretty much screwed. I can't wait to use this thing in campaign and lug around all the cool shit I find. Another blink and you'll miss it thing that made me so happy is that you actually have to hold the flag with 2 hands again. No more shooting and dashing while carrying the flag. It gives CTF a lot more sense of risk and reward because if you want to engage in combat, you have to consciously drop the flag and risk losing it. I'm really excited and hopeful for Halo Infinite's multiplayer because just in the 2 trailers, 343 has gone so far out of their way to show off so many examples of sandbox interaction, like being able to take the chopper off the man cannon, using the repulsor to jump, grenading weapons to yourself, the Skewer sending the Warthog flying, the grapple hook, and now the new Razorback. To me, this is what I remember thinking Halo would look like after Halo 3. There are still a few things that kind of concern me though. Like, they don't acknowledge it at all in the trailer, but ADS is back. And in Halo, when you're able to aim down sight for every weapon, I just think it kind of takes away from the weapon utility in the sandbox. And then there's the whole thing with the armor coatings in multiplayer where the red and blue team colors are being replaced with a red and blue outline on the players. And I don't think this looks bad necessarily, but I'm just concerned that it'll be kind of confusing if you're looking at someone with red armor that's on blue team and vice versa. In a big firefight with explosions going on around you, you're watching the motion tracker and you know there's people all over, even if it takes that extra less than a second of looking at someone to try and figure out if they're a friend or foe, it could end up being just a frustrating way to get killed. Like I said, I don't think it looks bad aesthetically, but I kept rewinding and watching these shots, and I just don't think, for the enemies at least, that the outline stands out that much. And after the flights, if they have to up the saturation to make it stand out more, I just don't want the game to end up looking kind of goofy. But at the end of the day, that's just one of those wait and see kind of things, so I'm trying not to judge it too harshly yet. Let me know where you guys are at on that, because I haven't really had a lot of time to look online and see the general consensus of the multiplayer. So seriously, leave me a comment letting me know what you think of the whole red versus blue and armor coating situation. But now, let's talk about the Spartan customization. There's going to be a lot of options coming that are new to the series, and even some that are building on older ideas in really awesome ways. So first off, let's talk about the customizable AI companions. Each player is equipped with their own AI that gives you in-game updates like weapons spawning in, objective updates, and they'll even show up when you're capturing objectives. I do want to point out though that they are different from the Jeff Spitzer announcer voice, so don't worry about the AI becoming the new multiplayer announcer. You're still going to hear that godlike voice saying double kill, triple kill. What I kind of think of them as is more like the firefight voices from Halo Reach, but way more customizable. You're going to be able to change your AI's voice and even their holographic appearance. I really liked the AI that they had in the initial multiplayer trailer, and she had one really awesome line that I just loved.
Please call us at your earliest convenience.
I really hope that in the future they come out with a Cortana or Jen Taylor version of it, because as much as I hate paying for microtransactions, I would buy the absolute shit out of that. There's also a lot of smaller customization stuff that got confirmed, like emblems are back, armor effects, there's now different gloves that you can equip for your Spartan, and I'm pretty sure this is a spray here. Halo Infinite is going to have beyond Reach level customization. For the first time, you're going to be able to choose from multi-level limb prosthetics. Not only can you have robot arms and legs, but you can choose how many you have and how much of each limb is robotic. That is so freaking awesome, and I really hope that they come out with different skins for the prosthetics. You can also change your Spartan's voice and body type. And you're going to be able to fully customize your Spartan on HaloWaypoint.com or through the new phone app they're releasing. I really hope that with the new app, you can also update your file share and look at other people's. Not only would that be really cool and expand on the amazing file share system that Halo has always had, but it would be really useful for finding maps and game modes for custom games and sharing game clips and screenshots online. The new Waypoint app actually seems like it could be really cool, and I'm excited to see more of it. Now, unlocks and monetization. If you've been with my channel for a while, you know that video game monetization is something that I feel really strongly about. In extreme cases like Battlefront 2, it can almost ruin games. And with Halo going free to play, it's something that I was really worried about. In fact, the very first video I made on this channel was talking about how Infinite could be monetized in a way that would benefit 343, but also be fair to longtime fans. And I'm actually really psyched to say that I'm really impressed with how they're handling the free-to-play multiplayer so far. A lot of the things that I wanted to see actually ended up in Infinite. The biggest thing for me is that there's going to be stuff that you can unlock from only playing the game, and you're not going to be able to circumvent it through anything like boosts or microtransactions. There's even certain armor like the samurai armor that we saw in the trailer that can only be unlocked by completing a certain in-game event. Kind of like finding all the skulls in H3 to get the Hayabusa armor, or 1000 gamer score unlocked you the katana. Meaningful challenge armor is something that I am really glad to see, because Halo 5's armor was basically meaningless, if I can be completely honest. It was all unlocked in random loot boxes, there was so much of it, and so many variants of each piece that it was all kind of a blur and none of it really meant anything. So now, when you see someone running around with a badass armor type, it'll actually tell you something about the player and how much of a badass they are, because you know exactly what they had to do to get it. It just makes the armor customization so much more meaningful. Another thing that is really important is that the battle passes don't expire. If you buy the pass, just like in MCC, you'll be able to choose which battle pass to progress in, and you're going to be able to come back to the old passes at any time. Fear of missing out, or FOMO, is a tactic of modern games that honestly just really pisses me off, because especially when you pay for the pass and then you still aren't guaranteed to get everything, that just sucks. Every new season is going to have a different theme. Like, you can see that season 1 is going to be very Reach inspired, and that probably has a little something to do with the story, which I'm not going to spoil. All I'm going to say is that if you can, check out Shadows of Reach before the game comes out. For me, it just made the campaign showcase so much more meaningful. We haven't seen everything, but I'm honestly so impressed and so relieved with everything that they've shown so far. The next video is going to be me absolutely gushing over the campaign reveal, and I hope to have that up in the next few days. But thanks for checking out the video, guys. If you made it through, a like helps out a lot around here, and let me know what you think of the multiplayer so far. You can follow me on Twitter at NickRespawns, and until next time, have a good one.